Hello, happy modelers. Bob here again, working on a club project, C Street. Today's project is going to be another convenience store located here on 6th Street called the Mini Food Mart. This building is interesting structure from the street, which is why I chose it to be modeled. It looks like a modern version of an old gas station, which we'll talk about that more in the video. The architecture was really interesting with that little curved structure in front, and it sat on a corner here in that little Art Deco kind of roof thing that you have going on up on the middle section there. It just piqued my interest, and I thought it would be an interesting visual structure in fairly nondescript colors that fit the architecture of the area and the character of the area that would define it as West Sacramento. Here you see the side of the building. It looks fairly straightforward, which is why I chose this kind of as a scratch building kit. A lot of straight lines, a lot of easy structures, a couple add-ons there, tilt-up structure that I could it's not real important whether or not it be represented because it's on the back, and so I think I shortcutted that, but it's a lot of different sections here. So plan A was to draw out the building and try to figure out from the pictures that you just saw what the approximate dimensions in 1/87th would be, and what you saw was what I had ended up measuring. Next thing is to convert this into something that we can cut from plastic, so I took a piece of cardstock and took it to the club, and you can see the structures I've been building: the two sheds, the rundown convenience store, the gas station kit bash is right there, and Maxwell Street is at the very top, barely visible. And right now I'm making the bakery, which is that red building off to the left. So right here I'm just making sure that the dimensions the way I drew it fit the space properly. If I needed to extend out the back, I could easily do it. And from the front, you can sort of see I use that building to kind of size up my structure to give me a sense of how the building will be sized. And that's just kind of how I figure these things out, since I don't really have a strong plan. So I figured that would be the back of my building right there, the furthest back it could go. I don't think I went actually that far back, but you can see as I lay the structure down there, that's the maximum area that I can cover. So I made myself, using this marker, just some few notes for when I take it home. And don't ask me what I'm doing right there. It has nothing to do with this project. And home to cutting plastic we go.
Okay, so the next project is this, and this is a gas station that's been an old style gas station that's converted to a mini mart. And I'll put the pictures of the prototype here, and the models that I could have chosen to give you a sense of the direction we're headed, with a JL Innovative and a Menards ready-built structure that would have required kit bashing. Now, I wasn't a fan. I mean, the JL Innovative would be fine for a starting point if I worked with wood. I haven't had good results with wood, so I'm not comfortable spending the money for that and then kit bashing it into this. And the Menards kit would require a lot of extensive modifications that would get me close, but a little concerned about the size that I'm going to be left with there. On that building, I might have had to have hacked off the back end of it. So, I mean, given that amount of cuts, I'd rather take my shot at doing this in plastic and making it from scratch. So what you're seeing here is the front. It's got this curved section with an overhang with an inner 2-inch section of plastic. This is an awning. This roof section goes like this, and that'll add me a height of 2 inches. And then this roof section goes like this at a 90 degrees, and it goes up to 3 inches, which is going to give me a compound roof right here behind a piece of awning. So By looking at the front of the building, here's that 2-inch curved section, and then it's going to have this architectural feature that goes down like this. And here's the awning right here, and then here they'll have a trim piece here, a couple windows, door. And this has boarded up doors on the underside of the 2-inch curved section that we will mock up in plastic. That they've done is somebody came along here and cut the round sections off, and then it goes into straight sections that were sectioned into this, which should be pretty easy to model underneath here. And again, I'll show you the prototype picture to show you how this all kind of goes together in 3 dimensions, and I'll show you the Google Maps on the location. So what I did was off that picture I took ratios of an image, and I calculated out everything to what it would be to correct dimensions. And if everything is properly done, this is 5 inches, this is 3 inches, 2, half, 1.5, 1 ratio. And then calculating all these numbers out, this is what we come out with, fairly close to those dimensions. So let's see, 5 inches, 3 inches, that should be about 2.5, and actually that's twice as thick, twice as deep as it needs to be. So actually I can cut this off. I can cut this back and give me more room along the back, which is fine because it's right up against the tracks. And because in prototype it would only be like that thin, which is really skinny. So I'm probably going to cut off a 1/2 inch. I'll take it down to 3.5 inches here. So the next thing to do is to get some plastic. I have ample plastic laying around here in some way, shape, or form, and to cut the base out the correct dimensions, I'm going to go to the local plastic store to see if I can't get something for this 2-inch section, make life easy for myself, and then we can cut this around it. Maybe not. I don't know. Go to Corel Draw and draw 2 circles, 2 and 2 3/4. Cutting it out of plastic won't be a problem. I'll need 1, 2, 3, 4 of those, 2 of those, and 2 of those. And then cutting those arcs. That's not actually going to be all that difficult, so I'm not terribly worried about that. And this back piece right here. You know, the hardest part of this is making these compound curves where the 2 and the 3-inch sections meet up. And since I'm not a contractor, I don't know how that's going to work, but this might be flat roof. I gotta go take a look at the map. If this is flat roof, this might be flat roof. That makes more sense. If this is flat roof and this is arch, that makes more sense. But I've got a 2-inch maximum height, 3 inches here. So that's our project. Time to start cutting.